look, my friends, you can't run away from who you are. You can try to mold yourself into a politically correct world, and luckily we're way beyond, well, not way beyond, this is unfair, but I'm glad that the world is now focusing on other variables. We'll always have race and religion and sexism and those things, but now we're leveling up even into like what's a modern dad and like, you know, what fit work-life balance and things of that nature. Look, I know the optics. I know I'm living a public persona. I know I have to answer these questions. Look how many work-life questions you got. I'd like to be politically correct. I'd like to be perfect. I'd like to make it easy on myself to not have to deal with the stress of the optics on the outside. Here is the punchline problem. You can't run away from who you are. You can't. And so I'm fucking ambitious. Like I want it, and I want it real bad.
Why?
I'm not sure. You know, I was born an immigrant. I'm not super tall. You know, I like losing. I like what happens to my testosterone and my energy when I take a loss. It gets me more motivated.
We should play ping pong more often.
I love my legacy. You know, I want to be remembered as a good dude and somebody who did it right. I feel the pressure of my talent. I know I have something, and I feel like equal gratitude as I do pressure to execute against it. I'm aware that I'm different, and it would be such a look, I lived 22 to 30 building a big business, but I wasn't doing outrageously special things, and I felt it. I knew it.
You're consistently growing something.
I was building a business. I'm super proud of that. I'm pumped that I didn't come out and become a pundit and a talking head at 22 and all these 18-year-old life coaches on Instagram. Like, I'm not into that. So I'm glad I had that meat and potatoes to come out and say, look, I built this. This had nothing to do with books or speeches or personal brand. This was a business I built. I was 32 years old before I said anything about business to the world. I have a lot of pride in that. At the same token, while I was in it, I knew there was more. I knew there was this Garyvee thing. I knew that there was bigger and better and all-time stuff. And so, you know, it's a seesaw of trying to find your cadence. And I think one of the things that I would tell a lot of people who are listening, and I know you have a young crew, I see a lot of, you know, and when I say young, I mean under 40. It's stunning. And not, look, I'm 40, you could be 46, and it's a mindset, but here's where I'm going with it. It's stunning how much time you have to pull it off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
When were you on the couch in your sister's, how old?
24.
You know what I mean? There's a lot of 24-year-olds listening right now.
And I had nothing, you know?
Right, and they're confused. They're like, well, you know, I need to do it and this and that. And so I think that I think I love life, and I think that I don't want to die. And I think the only way that I know how not to die is to leave a big-time legacy.
This is interesting. Jarek Robbins, I think
Yes.
you know, he said, but what if he got to the end of the journey in life and on the very last day figured out he was dead wrong? Just makes you put things in perspective. Truth is, no one actually knows. I'd be curious to hear what his response is.
It's a great question. I will tell you that if my DNA continues to go the way it goes, I'm not capable of crying about spilled milk. And if I'm laying on my deathbed one day to go and I say, fuck, you know, I should have been a stay-at-home dad, or shit, I should have invested in Uber in the angel round when I said no.
Did you have 2 opportunities for that?
Let's not talk about it. And you know, what are those things? I got a picture to show you. Check out this picture of Travis at the Super Bowl with Woody Johnson.
See, Travis who?
Travis Kalanick, founder, CEO of Uber.
Gotcha.
One of my best buds. There's a picture of him with Woody Johnson, and it says, "You're out of the deal."
Oh, man.
And the scary part is my homie Travis can fucking actually buy the jets.
Wow.
So that kind of shit motivates me, right?
Yeah.
Travis is my buddy. In Crush It, Travis is like traveling around with me to my keynotes, just hanging out.
Really?
In between his gigs, angel investing, right? And now he's like one of the 4 or 5 most prominent technology CEOs and one of the wealthiest on paper.
Crazy. What's he worth now? Well, what's Uber?
80 billion, so he's probably, I mean, he's got to be 10, 12, 7, 9. I mean, something just mind-boggling. And, you know, that's motivating. This is my homie who I acknowledge and Crush It. The only person I acknowledge besides my family.
Wow.
And asked me to invest in this company, and I'm an investor, and I passed twice an angel at $4 million.
Why?
Stupid stuff. I just bought a new apartment. I was super not liquid. I was using my own money back then, and Travis and Garrett, who found it, weren't going to run it. And I was doing a lot of side projects that weren't working at the time. And so just one of those things, right? Yeah. Like I just missed it. Anyway, I just I'm just living life like everybody else. I just want to squeeze that orange harder than most people.
But how come you haven't started your own app, your own social, like a Snapchat or Uber or something like that?
I'm good at knowing what I'm good at.
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
Yeah.
I think I have it. I don't think I'm Travis or Zucks or,
Right.
Ev or, any of the Kevin Systrom. I don't have a drive in my stomach to create a product. There's a couple that I've thought of, but for now, I still think I can get around to it. I'm feeling good about what I'm doing right now. I'm building VaynerMedia to be a machine for me for the rest of my life.
How many employees?
600.
It's crazy. I remember going in your first office with like 4 of you.
Yeah.
In New York.
That's right. And so I'm proud of that. It's a $100 million business. I mean, look,
Crazy.
I told AJ the other day, I'm like, VaynerMedia is going to end up being the by accident $1 billion company. I right now have nothing but my health stopping me from building $1 billion agency, which is wild. That's kind of weird to me that in 10 years, if I don't want to do anything else and if I don't get distracted 10 years from today, probably sooner, which is scary. Company's probably worth $300 million right now. And I know most people that follow me carefully don't realize that. There's a funny Google result of the second search on me is what's my net worth. And there's one of these cockamanian sites that says it's $10 million, right? And so I laugh at that because people tweet about that quite a bit and ask me, like, why am I doing so poorly? And then I try to remind them, I'm like, guys, how in the world do you think my net worth is $10 million when, they add up all the conversations of the businesses and I'm always confused by how people don't, it's stunning what people will believe. Some random SEO based website
right.
That's hacking people's names is their belief. Meanwhile, they know I co-own a $60 million business, which in that world is probably worth anywhere between 40 and 80. You could probably sell Wine Library for a little less. Its revenue a little bit more, right? So that's 20 to 40. The property Wine Library's on is worth 10. And it's like I've been stunned to learn. I guess I'm not going there with humble bragging or clarification. I'm going there with people just don't understand business. People, I don't know, I'm sure you've had people say, oh, that's how many books you sold. You made, they don't even think about that you don't get all that much. Somebody once said to me,
like $1.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you sold all these. I'm like, don't you know there's a publisher? Don't you know there's, it's just people's basic business knowledge is interesting to me. And it's just an interesting time. Right.
So why heavily vested in, you're the one who got me on a Snapchat. I was on there a year before you told me for a couple weeks. I didn't get it. And then you said at the dinner with Jim Quick, you were like, you got to get on there. And I'm really grateful I did because I sold a ton of books through it and it's been really helpful for me.
Attention. I will go down in history as somebody who understood consumer attention. What am I good at? Not only am I good at telling you a story to get you to do something, regardless of if I'm doing it for myself, my client, whatever, I'm really good at understanding where to find you to tell you that story. And I'm really good at understanding when there's not a lot of other voices trying to get you to buy something. That is my narrative. 1996 e-commerce site, nobody was doing it. 1997 email service, 90% open rates, nobody was doing email marketing. Google AdWords, 5 cents a click. YouTube. And then the YouTube part is fun because everybody who's listening right now can go watch episode 1 of Wine Library TV, which was February of 2006, which is less than a year after YouTube was out.
Wow.
And to make everybody understand the internet 10 years ago, people were still not on it.
Yeah.
And they were definitely not looking for the next cool thing. And then Twitter, and then Facebook, and
Instagram.
Instagram was a little bit slower on, truthfully. We did a marketing campaign 11 days after Instagram came out. I'm not good at taking pictures, and that was a platform that was hard for me to really get going. I finally got serious about it when I rebooted my personal brand 18 months ago.
Yeah.
I was real quiet in between, probably 11 to 14. For me, there's not a lot of content.
Right.
There's not a lot of content. Thank You Economy is my least selling book because I didn't promote it very heavily.